So let's talk about synths. You might wonder why I don't have any proper synths in my home studio and why I bought the OP1 instead of getting a proper analog synth with full-size keys. Well, first of all, I'm not a great keyboard player at all. I know some chords and parts of some scales, but normally I just go by ear and I play what I feel fits in the beat. I have played around with a lot of synths though, both hardware and software, analog and digital, but I never actually fallen in love with any of them. It's not that I'm not interested, I'm really interested in synthesis, don't get me wrong. I love the sound and I love the feeling to be able to just sit there, play around, twist the knobs and change the sound in different ways. But my first interest is making and producing music, so synthesizers and gear, that's a hobby for me. Making music is what I really love to do. Now, the main type of music I make is sample-based hip-hop beats that's supposed to be released just as instrumentals. So I use a lot of samples from records and cassette tapes. I also like to add synthesizers on top of it, like a lead sound, or maybe use a synthesizer to create a sub-bass that I put underneath it all. But that's pretty much all the synthesis I need in my day-to-day music making. Sure, I sometimes make a really nice full pad sound in Native Instruments Massive on the OP1 or maybe some iPad app. I put a drum beat on top of it, sidechain the kick drum to the pad sound and start a full track from there. But I enjoy starting with a sample a lot more. A sample gives me something fixed to start working from. It provides me with a limitation that I have to take into consideration when I'm making a new track. I mean, a synthesizer with 3 oscillators, a lot of different modulation possibilities with the VCOs and the LFOs, a lot of different filter settings and ways to modulate stuff. That makes me, on one hand, super excited, inspired, happy and nerdy. But on the other hand, it also makes me confused, overwhelmed and clueless of where to start. If you then add 49, 61 or 88 keys to start playing from, the possibilities are so wide that no music will be made at all. I'm not saying it's easier to make sample-based music, it really isn't, but it's different and it's a different kind of workflow. My creativity and inspiration really turns on when I find a really nice sample, or a crappy one that I need to work a lot with. I guess that's just my way of doing things. I don't know how many times I've spent an entire evening just sitting in front of a synthesizer, twisting all of the knobs and trying stuff out and never recorded one single note. So when I really want to produce and make something, I normally tend to start with a sample. I guess this is why the OP1 fits me perfectly as a synthesizer. I can get stuck in that one as well, but it doesn't operate as any other synth does. The 4 knobs works differently in the different synth modes, and sometimes the first knob's position changes how the second knob affects the sound in a pretty unpredictable way. To me that's a lot more fun and a bit more challenging than working with a synth that does just what it's supposed to do. But if I wanted to get a synthesizer today, I think I would go the opposite direction anyway. In that case, I need the synthesizer to be 100% hands-on, 1 knob per function, and a layout that I can really learn inside out. I'm not sure I would make a lot of music on it, but I've had the Korg Microkorg, and I really hate how that works. The digital knobs that you have to go back to the value they're at just to make them change anything, that makes me super confused and frustrated. Well, I'm sorry if this turned out to be a rant about or a rant against synthesizers. I really like synthesizers, don't get me wrong. I've just never really found a place for them in this setup because I'm so sample-based in my music making. Just please comment below if you think I should get a synth and which one and maybe why. I want to know if you agree with me on this or if I'm just thinking about this the wrong way. I'm posting a new video tomorrow again, so please stick around for that. Boom!